My wife came back from a business trip and I found white fluid on her underwear. It wasn't mine. 5 years of marriage. 5 years of building something I thought was real. We'd been trying for a baby, dreaming of the family we'd create together. Then Laurel came home from her business trip and I found that pair of underwear, stained with proof of someone else. The lab results came back colder than I ever imagined. HIV positive. I wanted to believe it was an accident, that she'd been violated, that my wife was a victim, until I saw the videos. She wasn't forced, she was willing. And now I'd become the one to bury what we'd built together. My name is Garrett. The text from Laurel lit up my phone just as she landed. She'd closed the California contract, the one that would expand our company, boost my salary, change everything. I should have felt pride. Instead, unease coiled in my stomach like a snake. A week ago, we'd gone camping with my boss Vincent and some colleagues. Ever since we returned, Laurel had been different. Distracted, irritable, distant in ways I couldn't name. And then I found it while doing laundry. Her underwear, crusted with dried white fluid. I sealed it in a plastic bag, my hands trembling. A terrible suspicion taking root in my mind. Garrett, are you certain your wife is having an affair? Phoebe Winters leaned forward across her desk. She specialized in infidelity cases, came highly recommended, and her eyes held no judgment, only clinical focus. Not completely certain, I admitted, the words tasting like ash. But I need the truth, and if she's cheating, I want a divorce. Phoebe explained the reality in our state. Most divorces were no-fault settlements, but adultery changed things. You'll need conclusive evidence, photos, videos, something undeniable. I can arrange for an investigator to monitor her activities if you're willing. Please do. My voice sounded hollow even to my own ears. She outlined what divorce would look like. No property, no children, comparable salaries. We could avoid alimony. If we proved infidelity, we'd negotiate from a position of strength. I agreed to start gathering evidence, hating every word that came out of my mouth. Phoebe hired investigator Quentin, who suggested installing tracking software on Laurel's phone and hiding recording devices in her purse. The plan made my skin crawl, but I had to know. There was something else gnawing at me, too. Vincent had been acting strange since the camping trip, more arrogant, like he was carrying some secret joke only he understood. That week, Laurel insisted on driving me to the airport herself. She kissed me goodbye, her lips warm and familiar. I told her I'd call after dinner. She nodded, wished me safe travels, smiled that smile I'd fallen in love with years ago. That evening, I kept my promise and called. What she told me made my blood run cold. She was going to Vincent's house to work as a caregiver. His regular nurse had called in sick, and he'd asked for Laurel's help, offering $50 for the night. School was starting soon, she explained. She could use the extra money. Her voice sounded so confident, so casual, as she told me she loved me before hanging up. I sat there in that hotel room, stomach twisting into knots. I called Quentin immediately, gave him Vincent's address, told him where Laurel would be. The next day, I called her cell. No connection, as I tried our home phone. Just the answering machine. My own voice echoing back at me. Surely she hadn't stayed overnight at Vincent's house. Surely. Then Quentin's email arrived, and every hope I'd been clinging to shattered like glass. Laura was at Vincent's house last night, still there now. Last night was quite eventful. I've attached several photos, but be warned, the content is explicit. Full report when you return. My hands shook as I opened the attachments. There was my wife of 5 years, engaged in acts I couldn't have imagined in my darkest nightmares. One photo showed her with Vincent. Others showed colleagues I'd trusted, men I'd called friends. Another image displayed her on the floor, limbs spread, face I barely recognized. Tears burned down my face. I tried calling her cell again, straight to voicemail. I called home, answering machine. I left no message, and dead. I went to the hotel bar and tried to drown what I'd seen. The next morning, the tracking software confirmed her phone was still at Vincent's house. Quentin sent more photos. A disturbing scene involving Vincent, his son Elliot, and several others from the company. People I'd trusted. People I'd considered friends. In the evening, the lab results arrived, and they were a death sentence. The fluid was semen, not mine, and it contained HIV. My blood turned to ice. She hadn't just betrayed me. She may have infected me with a disease that could kill me. When I secured the California contract, I took the first flight home. I arrived to find her car gone. The tracker showed her phone at Vincent's house. I changed clothes, my movements mechanical, and called Phoebe's office. Her receptionist said she could see me that afternoon. I called Laurel's cell. She answered, breathless, "Where are you?" I kept my voice steady. "Home, catching up on work," she lied, the words sliding out so easily. Shock rippled through me. The lie was so blatant, so effortless. "I finished in California early," I told her. "I'm on my way home." "Oh, I'm so glad." Laurel's voice brightened. "Want me to pick you up at the airport?" "No, there's trouble with the contract. I'll take a cab." And I hung up before she could respond, before she could hear my voice crack. I wondered if she noticed I hadn't said I loved her. Laurel stared at her phone after Garrett hung up. His usual "I love you" goodbye was missing. His tone had been flat, distant, wrong. She hadn't planned to stay that first night at Vincent's, it just happened. Vincent and his son had been so attentive, so passionate. She'd justified it to herself as just satisfying desires, scratching an itch. Once school started, it would all end. Garrett would never know. So she'd spent the next day and night there too, losing herself in pleasures she'd never experienced before. When Vincent briefly left for work, Elliot had kept her occupied, even calling over friends to join them. When Vincent returned and found her in bed with his son, he'd laughed. He suggested sending Garrett away on more business trips to free up her time. "I'll be starting classes soon," she'd explained. "I won't be available on weekdays, and I can't risk it when Garrett's home." "Why not?" Vincent had grinned. "Maybe he'd enjoy watching you with other men." They'd both laughed at that, though something uncomfortable had flickered in her chest. She still loved Garrett, she did. She didn't want to hurt him. Vincent proposed arranging for Garrett's absence on weekends so she could spend time with them. "But Garrett will find out eventually," she'd worried. "He's not stupid. Don't worry." Vincent had held up a camera, waving it like a trophy. "I'll handle him. Just one condition. You won't sleep with your husband anymore. You're ours now. Understand?" "How do I manage that?" she'd asked. "You'll figure something out. Use a headache excuse. I don't care." Vincent's voice had gone cold. "I'll try," she'd agreed, unaware of the surveillance van across the street recording every word, every movement, every betrayal. When Garrett saw Quentin's evidence, the room spun around him. Besides photos, there were videos showing his wife with multiple men, doing things far beyond anything they'd ever done together. His love for her didn't just fade. It died, sudden and absolute, like a light switching off. Phoebe tried to console him, but the pain was a living thing, clawing at his insides. "How could she change so completely after 5 years?" he asked. "What did I do to cause this?" And then there was Vincent, someone he'd once considered a mentor, even a friend, now revealed as a predator. "I'll initiate divorce proceedings on grounds of adultery," Phoebe advised. "We can also file alienation of affection lawsuits against Vincent and the colleagues involved. These cases are usually difficult, but I believe we can secure a favorable settlement." Do your best, Garrett replied, his voice hollow. Just don't do anything reckless, Phoebe warned. I don't want to bail you out of jail. I won't. When will the documents be ready? A few days. Meanwhile, try to maintain normalcy with your wife. I'm not a good actor, Garrett confessed. I won't touch her again. Who knows what diseases she's caught from those men. How about pretending to be sick? Phoebe suggested. That should buy you some time. Garrett nodded, grateful for the lifeline. Leaving her office, he felt simultaneously overwhelmed and strangely determined. Sitting in his car, reality crystallized. He couldn't continue working for Vincent. Couldn't tolerate being around those people anymore. He scrolled through his phone and found the number he needed. Carson, the voice answered hopefully. Wesley, this is Garrett Burns. Garrett, how are you, my friend? Not great, Garrett admitted. Listen, is that position at Empire still open? Wesley Carson had been trying to recruit Garrett for months, but loyalty to Vincent had always held him back. That loyalty was dead now. Of course it is. You're finally joining a mature company? Something like that. I realized I can't continue with my current job. I'm sorry to hear that, Wesley said, concern creeping into his voice. Can I help with anything? Just give me a job. I'll work as hard for you as I did for Vincent. Deal. How about starting Monday? Perfect. Wesley suggested dinner that evening with him and his wife Vivian to discuss salary and details. When he mentioned bringing Laurel along, Garrett's throat tightened. I can't bring her. I'd prefer to discuss why in person. Wesley's wife was a counselor, he explained. Maybe she could help. Garrett welcomed the suggestion, feeling the first flicker of hope. They arranged to meet at 6:30. When Garrett arrived home, Laurel wasn't there. He showered, changed, and sat down to draft his resignation letter. The words came easily. Too easily. Laurel arrived around 5, finding him at his computer. She leaned down to kiss him, but he turned away, allowing only a brief peck on his cheek. Is everything all right? Concern laced her voice. Not really. I'm feeling unwell, probably jet lag. I'll sleep on the sofa bed tonight. Are you going out? Where? I have dinner plans. Who are you meeting? Her voice rose slightly. Are you accusing me of having an affair? The irony nearly made him laugh. I've never cheated on you, and I never would. Can you say the same? She stepped back, panic flickering across her face. He couldn't possibly know. Could he? No, I can't, she answered carefully. Garrett remained unconvinced, his face unreadable. So, how was California? Successful. His tone was clipped. How was your time at Vincent's? She tried to sound casual. Fine. Challenging, but pleasant, I can imagine. His words carried no emotion, just empty acknowledgement. He checked his watch, stood, and walked past her without another word. In the bedroom, he changed into nicer clothes. When he emerged, she was on the couch, watching him. How long will you be gone? Not sure. Don't wait up. She noticed he didn't kiss her or tell her he loved her, those rituals that had defined their relationship. He simply grabbed his keys and left. After his car disappeared down the street, she picked up the phone, unaware the conversation was being recorded. She dialed Vincent's number with trembling fingers. Vincent, I think he suspects something. Why do you think that? Vincent's voice was amused. He won't touch me at all. He always kisses me, tells me he loves me. Today, nothing. He seemed distant, said he had dinner plans, and just left. Really? Did he mention who he was meeting? No. If he knows something, so what? Vincent laughed. You can always live with us. As for little Garrett, I'll keep him busy enough he won't be home much. But I don't want to lose him, she said, her voice breaking. I love him. Yes, you've really shown that these past few days, Vincent said sarcastically. That's not fair. I know what you did with us. You enjoyed every minute. But you still love him, please. I do, she insisted. I don't want to lose him. All right. Let him calm down. Sooner or later he'll come around. If he doesn't, well, we can handle that problem too. You won't hurt him, will you? Not directly. We just need to make him see things our way. And you'll play a role in that. What do you mean? When the time is right, you'll help us make him understand. Remember where your loyalty lies. Remember, I have videos that would cause quite a scandal if made public. You wouldn't dare. Oh, I would. I have footage from the camping trip and other sessions. You belong to me now, so help me control little Garrett. Feeling trapped, she reluctantly agreed. Fine, Vincent, but please don't hurt him. Vincent smiled through the phone. Of course. Meanwhile, Garrett arrived at Wesley and Vivian Carson's large 2-story home, a bottle of wine in hand. Wesley greeted him warmly at the door. Come in, Garrett. Wesley accepted the wine graciously. We'll enjoy this tonight, thank you. Inside, Vivian was waiting in the dining room, a woman with kind eyes and an air of quiet competence. Wesley made introductions while opening the wine. Garrett, this is my wife, Vivian. Vivian, this is Garrett Burns, our new client representative. Garrett shook her hand. Pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Carson. Please call me Vivian. Mrs. Carson sounds too formal. At the dining table, Vivian served lasagna while Wesley poured wine. The food was incredible, rich and comforting in a way that made Garrett's chest ache. This is the best lasagna I've ever had, he said honestly. I'm glad you like it. Vivian smiled. It's one of my specialties. So, Garrett, Wesley began carefully. I don't want to pry, but I'm curious why you're suddenly leaving Vincent. Did something happen? Garrett collected himself, then opened up. The words came slowly at first, then faster, until the whole terrible story spilled out. That's difficult, Wesley said with genuine sympathy. I understand. I went through something similar once, though the circumstances were different. Besides changing jobs, what are your plans now? I've consulted a lawyer. I'm filing for divorce. My lawyer says it should be a fair division. Have you considered therapy? Vivian asked gently. It's too late for that. I don't understand what happened to Laurel. It's like she suddenly became someone I don't recognize. How are you coping with all this? Not well, Garrett confessed. My lawyer advised me to act normal around her, but it's challenging. I can't even bear to look at her. Perhaps therapy could help you, Vivian suggested. I might consider it. She's right, Wesley interjected. Vivian is the best in her field. I'm confident she can help you navigate this difficulty, and it's included in your benefits package. That's good. Garrett felt something loosen in his chest. I'm serious, Wesley assured him. Vivian was invaluable when I went through difficult times. I believe she can support you, too. Wesley turned to his wife. Can you make room in your schedule for him? Certainly. I suggest 1 hour weekly. What do you think, Garrett? After a moment's consideration, Garrett agreed. All right, I'll try it. Wesley smiled, patting his shoulder. Good decision. I'll ensure you have the necessary time for therapy. Coordinate with Vivian and let me know your arrangements. I will, thank you. For the next hour, they finalized details of his new position. By the end, Garrett felt something he hadn't felt in days, a sense of control returning to his life. After shaking hands with Wesley, he drove home around 10 p.m., and he pulled into the driveway. The lights were still on. He hoped Laurel was alone. Inside, he found her on the sofa. "How was your meeting?" she asked. "Good, thanks. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to bed. Good night." He retreated to the second bedroom and began undressing. "Are you sleeping in here now?" Laurel stood in the doorway, her voice small. "Yes. I'm still feeling unwell, so I'll sleep on the sofa bed. Any problem?" "Well, okay, I guess." She hesitated. "You've been gone for 3 days. I was hoping we could, spend time together." The thought of intimate contact with her made his stomach turn. "Hi, Ian. I don't want it tonight." "All right," she whispered. "Maybe tomorrow." "I'm not sure. We'll see." The next day, Garrett woke early. He prepared his resignation letter, poured coffee, and noticed Laurel's purse on the kitchen counter. He removed the recorder and downloaded the previous day's conversations. Then he left without saying goodbye, without any word of affection. Laurel heard the door close and remained in bed, tears streaming down her face. At the office, Garrett kept his distance. After brief morning greetings, he retreated to his office and closed the door. While gathering his personal belongings, Vincent walked in without knocking. "What's this?" Vincent asked, looking at the boxes. Garrett took 2 letters from his briefcase. One contains the signed California contract. The other is my resignation, effective immediately. I expect the bonus for securing that account as well as my final paycheck, including remaining vacation time. Resignation? Vincent's face twisted in confusion. "Why are you leaving? I need you." "Really? You really don't know why?" Garrett's voice was cold. "Zeus. Do you think I'm naive? Certain things have come to light necessitating my resignation. I've secured a position elsewhere. I'll be leaving shortly, then heading to Human Resources." "Wait, Garrett, can't we talk about this?" Vincent actually sounded desperate. "There's nothing to talk about, Vincent. I'm done. It's over. I once considered you a friend, but you betrayed me and ruined my marriage. Go fool someone else." "So you know about that," Vincent said carefully. "Let me tell you, your wife initiated what happened between us. We don't necessarily have to let this ruin your career. Let Laurel explore her desires. When she's finished, she'll come back to you." "You're despicable," Garrett spat. "You expect me to accept this? By the way, how long have you been involved with her?" "The first time was during the camping trip," Vincent confessed, almost bragging. "The second day, when you and the others went water skiing, she came to your tent claiming she needed someone better than you. Then she begged me to make love to her here. You remember when I suddenly sent you back to the office to handle that issue? You wanted me out of the way so you could be with my wife?" "Yes. So what?" Vincent shrugged. She say, and her working as a caregiver at your house was just another scheme to sleep with her." "Yes. So what?" Vincent's arrogance was breathtaking. Garrett stopped the recording he'd secretly started when Vincent entered. "Thank you for your confession. Now, if you don't mind, I'm finished packing. I'm heading to Human Resources, then leaving. Goodbye, Vincent. Go to hell." "Wait," Vincent protested. "You can't use that recording." "We'll see." Garrett's smile was cold. I'm leaving now. Goodbye, Vincent. Go to hell." "Wait, you forgot something." Vincent held up a photo of Laurel from Garrett's desk. "I didn't forget. I don't want it. If you and your son are so interested in her, she's all yours. I'm done with both of you. Goodbye." With that, Garrett left, leaving Vincent confused and bewildered. When I returned home that evening, I placed a .45 caliber semi-automatic on the dining table, just in case. "We need to talk," I announced, the handgun within reach. "Ain't that necessary?" She pointed at the weapon, her face pale. "Not needed. Just a precautionary measure in case your lover shows up." "My lover?" she asked. feigning innocence. "Don't play dumb," I snapped. "Sit down. We have things to discuss." Frightened, she sat, uncertain of her husband's intentions. "First," I began, "someone will be delivering documents to you later today." "Divorce papers?" Laurel's voice cracked. "What? I don't want a divorce. I love you." I laughed bitterly. "I know about your activities with Vincent, his son, and the others you've been entertaining recently. So I'm filing for divorce on grounds of adultery." "Adultery? You have no evidence." I produced an envelope containing dated and timed photos. They showed her with multiple men, including Vincent. "I also have videos and audio. Interested in seeing them?" She slumped forward, realizing protest was futile. "Good," I said. "Considering the circumstances, I've been quite fair. No alimony. Equal division of bank funds. Each keeps their own retirement accounts. You keep your personal possessions. I've canceled your credit cards. Here's a check representing your share. Additionally, there's a restraining order requiring you to maintain 500 feet from me, my residence, and my workplace. You have until the documents arrive to pack your things. You're kicking me out?" Tears streamed down her face. "Basically, yes. What if I contest?" I laughed. "That wouldn't be wise. Consider the consequences if these photos went public. Think about your job. You wouldn't dare." "Want out a bet?" After contemplating, Laurel acknowledged defeat. "No, I won't take that risk. I need my job. Obviously, 2 more things." "What?" Her voice was barely audible. "You'll return your ring and stop using my surname." "You've become heartless," she accused, removing the ring with shaking hands. "You gave me reason to," I replied. "One thing I want to know. What changed you from a loving, loyal wife?" She bowed her head before speaking. "It happened on the 2nd day of the camping trip. You were outside. I was in the tent. I took off my clothes and lay down to rest when Vincent entered. At first I felt embarrassed. We started talking, then he showed me, and that was it." "So a guy with a bigger package drops his pants, and you flocked to him like a bee to honey? That's all it took to turn a faithful wife unfaithful. How many times did you sleep with him during that trip?" "Twice," she admitted. "Once when you were water skiing, and again when Vincent sent you back to the office." I pointed to the photos. "I see none of your lovers took precautions. Weren't you concerned about pregnancy or infections?" "I was still on the pill," she defended herself. "That doesn't eliminate the risk. You could still get pregnant or contract a disease. Is that what you wanted?" At that moment, someone knocked at the door. "I believe that's for you," I said. Laurel walked to the door and found a process server from the sheriff's department. "Are you Laurel Burns?" "Yes, that's me." "May I see some identification?" She showed him her driver's license. After verification, he handed her an envelope. "You've been served, ma'am. Also, there's a restraining order requiring you to leave the house. You can sign the divorce papers now if you wish." She nodded, examining the papers carefully before signing with a trembling hand. "These will be reviewed by a lawyer," he assured her. "You must leave now. If you attempt to return, you'll be arrested." "I understand," she replied through tears. She looked at me one last time. "I'm so very sorry." "Yes, I am too. Goodbye. Goodbye," she whispered, and then she was gone. The agent nodded to me before departing. The following days were chaotic. Laurel didn't attempt to contact me, but Vincent left increasingly threatening voicemails. "Damn it, Garrett, I know you're there," he shouted. "If you don't withdraw this lawsuit, I'll kick your ass." I laughed, saved the voicemail, and forwarded it to Phoebe, who notified the sheriff's department. Laurel's parents called asking if they could retrieve more of her belongings. "Of course. Just ensure she doesn't come with you." There's a restraining order against her. All right. Raymond, Laurel's father, agreed. When Raymond and Judith arrived, they collected her remaining items and urged me to reconsider. Garrett, she made a mistake, Judith pleaded. Can't you forgive her and take her back? She loves you. What did she tell you? AITA asked. She admitted to a minor indiscretion with your boss, Judith answered. Just that. Just that? I produced an envelope containing photos and an SD card. Their faces transformed as they looked through the evidence. Shock, horror, disbelief. I had no idea it was this serious, Judith admitted. I'm sorry, Garrett. I don't blame you, Raymond said, his face red with fury. I'm going to have a very serious conversation with my daughter. What do you plan to do with these photos? Judith asked. Nothing for now, but I warned her not to contest the divorce. They expressed their sympathies, then continued gathering Laurel's belongings. 30 minutes later, they hugged me goodbye, their faces etched with sorrow. The divorce proceedings went smoothly since Laurel didn't contest. However, the alienation of affection lawsuits encountered complications, with 2 being dismissed. The case against Vincent took an unexpected turn. After reviewing the evidence and financial statements, the judge ruled in my favor, ordering Vincent to pay $1 million in damages. Mr. Hudson, your conduct in this matter absolutely warrants severe punishment, the judge said sternly. Not only did you take advantage of someone you considered a friend, but you also abused your authority as an employer to destroy his marriage and family. Furthermore, you repeatedly violated restraining orders. Therefore, judgment is granted in favor of the plaintiff. You will pay $1 million in damages. Judge, this is highly unusual, Vincent's attorney interrupted. Mr. Thaddeus, this court finds Mr. Hudson's behavior not only unusual, but absolutely contemptible. The order stands immediately, unless, of course, your client would prefer to sit in jail for contempt of court. No, Judge, my client will comply with the order, Thaddeus conceded. Very well. May God help you if this check bounces. Case closed. The gavel struck, ending the case. Vincent wrote the check, and after the judge confirmed it cleared, Phoebe handed it to me. I paid her well-deserved portion. During my employment at Empire, several of Vincent's clients approached me. Word of the lawsuit spread, and many companies became unwilling to do business with someone who'd actively destroyed another man's marriage. I speculated Vincent might be out of business within a year. During this time, despite several attractive women at work approaching me, I declined dating. I wouldn't consider new relationships until the final judgment was delivered. When the final divorce decree came through, I celebrated with colleagues at a local bar, complete with a performance by talented exotic dancers. Several months after the divorce was finalized, Judith called. Garrett, it's Judith. Could we talk for a minute? Sure, Judith. What would you like to discuss? It's about Laurel. She tested positive for HIV. The words hit me like a physical blow. I'm sorry to hear that, but honestly, I'm not surprised. And we're officially divorced now, so there's not much I can do. She's not on my insurance. I'm not responsible for her. I understand, Judith acknowledged. I hoped you might spend a few minutes talking to her. I suppose I can, though I'm not sure what good it will do. Thank you so much, Garrett. I drove to Raymond and Judith's residence, shocked by Laurel's haggard appearance. She looked years older, hollowed out. She approached me, but I motioned for her to sit. Feeling heavy-hearted, she complied. I sat on the couch across from her. You look good, Garrett, she remarked. Better than I remember. How have you been? Doing well. New job. New friends. New outlook on life. And you? Not so well. She gestured vaguely at herself. You know about my HIV diagnosis. That's what your mom told me. I'm sorry to hear it, but frankly, I'm not surprised. Do you know when you were infected? I think it was during one of the gatherings at Vincent's house. I had unprotected sex with multiple participants that day. Does Vincent know? No, she admitted. But I have to notify him so he can get tested. I doubt he'll take it well. Probably not. Listen, Garrett. I want to apologize to you again, she continued, her voice breaking. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive what I did. I've realized how harmful my actions were. I could have refused at any time, but I didn't. I was foolish and selfish, allowing my desires to override my judgment. Now I'm facing the consequences. You were the best husband and lover I could have asked for, and I threw it all away for momentary pleasure. I know you despise me, and you have every right to, but I don't want to leave this world without your forgiveness. I contemplated her words. This was the first time she'd taken full responsibility for her actions and acknowledged their impact. While I could continue holding a grudge, I recalled my sessions with Vivian. Resentment wouldn't help me move forward. All right, Laurel, I said, finally. I forgive you. She sat crying in her chair. I considered hugging her, but decided against it when she shook her head. Thank you so much, Garrett, she said through tears. This means more to me than you know. Listen, I hope you find a woman you can love and trust. Marry her, have children with her. I'm finished. It's over for me. But your life is still ahead of you, and you deserve happiness. Thank you. I will. If you want to talk, let me know. Okay, she nodded, wiping away tears. I will. Thanks for coming. I've missed you these past few months. I missed the woman I married, I said quietly. By the way, how are Vincent and Elliot? Not good. He's become very brutal lately. He didn't take your court victory well. His business has taken a significant hit recently. I've noticed. Has he physically harmed you? Not yet, but, well, he's very quick to anger. Would you like me to accompany you when you tell him about your diagnosis? No, but thank you for your concern. This is my responsibility. I need to handle it. She paused. You know, I keep thinking if he hadn't approached me on that first day of the camping trip, we might still be together. It's possible, but I have a feeling this would have happened eventually. He'd been eyeing you for some time. I think you're right. She looked exhausted. Listen, I'm tired and need to rest. Thank you for coming. It really means more to me than you know, so you're welcome, Laurel. Remember, if you want to talk or anything, call me. Okay? I sensed a finality in her tone, suspecting she might be contemplating suicide. I will, she promised. Don't do anything foolish, okay? She smiled weakly. I won't. As I stood and walked towards the door, Judith approached me. Thank you, Garrett, she said, hugging me. This means more than you know to her and to me. You're welcome, Judith. Take care of her. I will, Judith promised. A few weeks later, I was sitting on my couch eating dinner, watching the evening news, when a report caught my attention. The deaths of a local businessman, his son, and a woman believed to be his lover were discovered earlier today. Police believe it was a double murder-suicide. Jacob Hudson, president and founder of Hudson Consulting, was found dead with his son and an unidentified woman. All three died of gunshot wounds. Police are investigating and will provide more information as details become available. The world tilted. I called Judith immediately. She answered through tears. Judith, what happened? We just learned Laurel is dead. It seems Vincent shot her first, then his son, then himself. My God. The words were inadequate. I saw a news report and hoped it wasn't her. I'm afraid it was, Judith confirmed. Do the police have any clue why this happened? They're not entirely sure, but I believe she told Vincent about her HIV diagnosis and he lost control. The bodies are at the medical examiners. I am truly sorry, Judith. I want you to know I never wished for something like this to happen. I understand. Laurel made her own choices and faced the consequences. Nevertheless, losing your only daughter is heartbreaking. I comfort myself thinking she's in a better place now. If there's anything I can do, please let me know. Thank you, Garrett. Laurel's memorial service was held a few weeks later. I took time off to support her parents. According to the autopsy, Vincent, Elliot, and Laurel were all HIV positive. Based on the police investigation, Laurel had announced her diagnosis to Vincent, suggesting he and his associates get tested. When they discovered they were also infected, Vincent had shot her, then his son, then himself. I attended Laurel's memorial service, spending a few days reminiscing about our happiest times together. Then, unexpectedly, my colleague, Naomi Pierce, approached me. "Hey, cowboy," she greeted with a gentle smile. "Want to join us for happy hour tonight? You look like you could use some company." I hesitated, almost declining, then reconsidered. "Why not? I could use some good company right now. Count me in." "Great," she smiled warmly. "Meet at the Key Point after work?" "All right, I'll be there. Thanks for the invitation." As I was leaving the cemetery, I contemplated the cycle of life. How quickly everything could change. How fragile happiness truly was. Then I heard a familiar female voice in my head. "Cheer up, big boy," it said, startling me. I scanned around, but found no one. A chill crawled up my back. "No," I thought to myself, "that's impossible." "Yes," it answered. I turned to my phone and sent Naomi a text. "Looking forward to seeing you.